cauliflower soup, some salad, baba ganoush, bread. I'm going to be reviewing the Informant. James is having some potatoes with some rutabaga gravy and some burgers with baba ganoush on the bun.
And what type of buns are these? We're not going to make focaccia. Yeah.
With rosemary.
And
I didn't make them.
Yeah, exactly right. But it's part of the formula. I mean, it's an attractive thing. You see how you get this circle, and it's very, something that appeal to a mathematician. I wouldn't call myself a mathematician, but I sometimes mess around with mathematics. Look at that heroic bowl of tomatoes from the garden in my yard. I can't really call it my garden because those tomatoes
were caring for them now. I cared for them at the beginning in the house, and then transplanted them out, and then James cared for them for a while, and then I cared for them.
Yeah, so for at least a month, Pauline's been caring for them, and I cared for them for 2 months.
And then I cared for them.
Well, it was probably. When did you plant them? Was it the end of June or?
Well, I planted the seeds in, I think, February.
Yeah, exactly right. So she took care of them for many months. And then you planted them outside. Would it have been the beginning or end of June?
I don't know. It was a late spring.
Anyway, I took care of them for at least 2 months, and I got them through the heat dome. Which is, I'd never heard of something like that happening before. I don't know.
I made this soup too salty.
I'll eat it. I'd salt this.
Well, if you care for it, go ahead.
I'll just eat a little bit of it and then water it down eventually,
Anyway.
There's a way of handling that, and what the hey, I could actually put a little bit of that apple juice in there. Wouldn't that be a cute way of handling? I'm just going to handle a little bit of carrot juice that got in your nose there.
Well, you see what happened.
It was splattering around, right?
Yes,
I'm amazed it was only one.
I threw the stuff from the processor, the juicer. So it might have been apple and some, whatever. And I threw it out in the yard, and I hit the tree, and the tree.
You had splashback.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, that's pretty novel. I didn't know the tree was that close, but it must have been a lot of it.
Anyway,
it's hilarious. I think I'm just going to put a little bit of this topped off apple juice in the soup. That one, you won't be offended by that, will you?
No.
Because I'm going to be, I guess, eating it or drinking it.
If you like. So anyway, I wrote in this, my little review to get me reminded about it. I got to learn about Marfan syndrome by reading this book.
Yeah.
The book was entertaining and well written. I didn't believe the serial killer's murder style. I don't want to give anything away, and I don't think I did by writing this. Wouldn't it just rip into strips rather than out? And even if the gloves were bite-proof, that wouldn't keep the biter from hanging on with everything they had. The cover art is boring. Still, this is worth the time for anyone who likes criminal drama or FBI stories.
The cover art isn't that good. And when she was talking about James, this is not me, okay?
No.
So,
did I say?
No, you just said, you see, like you went from there to James or whatever. And I thought maybe some people might misunderstand. You were talking about the Informant, but James is right next. I'm just messing around.
I have no idea. Anyway, I was gonna talk about. It's interesting. With these sort of crime books, the author has
he's got his face there
on the back, and
like he's famous, like Agatha Christie. They'll have her face there, but. They say she's the most published author in the world.
Usually they have them inside, right? But here,
right there,
with these famous crime
dudes,
writers,
and they're crime writers, not crime fighters.
Yeah,
more famous than crime fighters.
I've noticed they have their pictures back here.
Wow, that's amazing.
And this isn't the first that I've come across.
No, the next stage is front cover.
Yeah. He was a trial lawyer for 12 years, and that's, I think, why he does such a good job writing this sort of thing.
He knows the stuff inside and out.
What is interesting, like James was saying, their face will be right on the cover, and well, the name is even in between the.
Yeah, there you go. Well, so with a lot of the
right
authors,
away, you're like, yeah, that's what I want, that guy, right? It's not what's not important is the title.
No.
It's the name of
author.
the author. And so he's written quite a few of these, I guess. And he did a great job, I gotta say. You know, for the genre. Like,
Exactly.
I mean, it's not like I'm expecting...
Murder mystery?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, well, you're FBI trying to catch the serial killer, right?
Okay.
And so you have you get a lot of, you don't just get the point, it's not from the point of view of the FBI agents entirely, you get it from the killer and from some of the victims, whatever. So, and he does it in a way that it's really fluid. It's, honestly, he writes quite well.
Oh, well, that's amazing.
And it just seems like it comes very natural for him, and like he knows the stuff, so he doesn't have to research. It's just it's him. It's a part of his being, right? So it's it was well worth reading, actually, if you like that genre.
And he looks like a lawyer. He doesn't look like a movie star, that's for sure.
No. But anyway.
Face only a grandmother could love.
I don't know what else I was going to say about that. There were some things in there that I think could have possibly, I don't know that they were important to the story. The, say the name on the napkin, meeting in the whatever. I don't want to give stuff away because it's worth reading. I just don't think that, you know, with the phone call from the girlfriend and then this, I don't know that that was necessary. And, yeah. Anyway. I guess I should weigh this.
Yeah, people are waiting for you to weigh.
Yeah, I kept the soup warm and there's no point now. Oh well. I feel bad. I should have, you know, I tasted it while it was going and I thought maybe a little salty. And then I didn't add any more water to it or anything, and I should have.
I think I'll eat that now. Well, it's still a little warm. Soup's cold. What's that, gazpacho and junk like that?
Yeah, all soup that
Doesn't do
James
much
eats
for me.
is really gazpacho because he lets it go cold.
No. I
You
don't like
it
gazpacho.
anymore.
Well, I like it okay, but there's something about gazpacho that I don't like. I don't know. So this is cauliflower soup, you're saying?
It is.
Mixed with?
Well, it's just cauliflower. I juiced cauliflower, put nutmeg, pepper, salt, water, some cauliflower florets.
Okay.
That's it.
That apple with it ain't that bad, actually.
Oh, good.
It ain't that good, but I'm not a great cook. But, well, I'm not really a cook at all. I'm a food preparer. I make pretty good sandwiches for my taste. That's about it. I'd make a weird bowl of cereal. Lots of nuts and dried fruit in it.
So what were you going to talk about at this dinner?
Well, I'm not sure. Maybe a heads up. Maybe tomorrow I'll be having a follow-up review of Blackfoot Grammar. I've whipped through it, and I'll have whipped through it in less than a week. And that'll be the third time for this edition. And I went through the second edition 3 times. Minimum.
He's trying very hard to learn Blackfoot.
So I'm getting to the point now where I can read the simpler things. But my vocabulary is very limited. But wow, the grammar is, I just feel like it's an amazing compliment.
But you say that Blackfoot is not the most difficult language in the world to learn.
The alphabet, thanks to Don France. the father of a friend of ours, and he also taught it to me, and I consider him a friend. But he's done a great job, I think, with the alphabet, writing it up. So reading the writing, the actual sounds are it's about as scientific as you can get. It's amazing about that. So writing systems, they're stunningly bad writing systems. The Chinese writing system it's artistic and all that sort of stuff, but wow, I mean, it's as clumsy as all get out. And there's the dead writing system of cuneiform, used French and Assyrian, Babylonian, two dialects of Akkadian, and Elamite, Hurrian, Urartian, and one type of Hittite, the non-hieroglyphic type of Hittite. It's the worst ever. Hittite would be the worst because it's
just a little.
You have to know a certain amount of Sumerian vocabulary, a certain amount of Akkadian vocabulary. Then you've got to know the Hittite vocabulary, like spoken. And then you've got to mess around with the actual script. What makes it so bad? I think Japanese, when they're dealing with the kanji script, is similar, but it just doesn't have as many possible readings for each symbol. So Japanese, you get a simple kanji, the Chinese kind of script. It's not unusual to have at least two possible readings of the Japanese reading of it, the oral reading, and the Chinese, very garbled Chinese version. In other words, they mispronounce the Chinese badly.
5 pounds and change.
I figured it'd be overcooked for 4 pounds or something like that. So 5 pounds, that's good. A little bit better approximating than I did yesterday. What did I guess yesterday? 5 pounds, and it ended up being 4 pounds? No, it was 3 and change. Anyway, 5 pounds is substantial. It's less than a third of what you got on your record-setting day from the garden in my yard.
That was impressive.
I'm going to try to call it the garden in my yard.
Yeah.
It's it's not really my garden. I put a lot of work into the tomatoes and squash. It's a shared. We have to be careful about these things. Like when I'm talking about people on the CBC, I want to make sure I call them. Are you listening, you CBC folks? People that are assholes. I want to make that clear. I don't want to call them what they really are. I want to call them people that are assholes. Because I want people to treat them better than they deserve. You know, it's amazing how that woman, Gorfinkel, or whatever her name was, the so-called expert, health expert they had on the CBC, and have semi-regularly, she made this jump from calling people who are schizophrenic, people who are diabetic, to don't call them anti-maskers. Call them people who are anti-maskers. Mm-hmm. Oh, hold on a second. People don't have that much of a choice about being diabetic, particularly if it's the child onset one. And they don't have any choice, from what I can see, about being schizophrenic. But people have a choice about being anti-maskers. You know, they're making an ethical choice. I mean, people who are Nazis, you know, like we really got to be careful with the way they treat them. or they might react badly. No, they react badly because they're Nazis. Okay. People who are commies, you know, like if you don't call them that, hey, they might put you in a slave labor camp. You know, you just tread softly.
Well, our gardens didn't freeze again tonight, or last night.
No, they didn't.
So I'm very
There were
thankful
warnings
for that.
of there were frost warnings, and they were predicting going down to +1. Which, you know, if they miss it the one way, who cares? But if they miss it the other way, you're in trouble. Well, I had a feeling last night that it was. It's not one of those spooky feelings. It's like when you get outdoors and you've worked outdoors and stuff like that. You have a little bit of a sense.
I didn't have that feeling. I was very nervous, so I was up.
Yeah, Pauline's worked outdoors a lot.
And I came out, I don't know, 1 or something, and I'm like, ooh, it's pretty chilly. Went back out at about 3, and I'm like, oh, it's pretty chilly.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah, I felt 2 or 3. I was out about 2. I think it was about 3 actually. It was 2 o'clock on my watch. I didn't change it, but it didn't feel good.
Okay.
There we go. Solution for too much salt in soup. Slam some apple juice in there. Real apple juice. I don't necessarily recommend.
Wow.
What is that stuff
it's
that
from
you
our
get from the
tree.
store?
So, and
I mean,
our
this
tree,
is what
the apple's very, very ripe right now, so it comes out apple sauce.
That's what real apple juice looks like. It's tasty, I'm telling you. Basically, right off the tree.
Yeah, it'd be very sweet. But anyway.
So I can still taste the salt, but it tastes pretty good.
Okay.
I kind of have a soft spot for salt.
And I put a lot of garlic in the baba ganoush today.
Oh.
That's okay, I like garlic.
Yeah, well, let's see how it works out for me. I can always put a lot of stuff on. I might even put some apple juice in. What the heck? I'll be trying to wing it like Michael Smith does. Is that the name of that guy from PEI?
Yeah.
He used to have a show, a cooking show. I liked it a lot more than you did, but then I'm not a cook, so. I like the way he'd wing it. I wasn't overly impressed with the way he was like Clara on Clara's Corner. She used to be dressed in a dirndl.
Little bit drinky while she's going.
She'd start giggling. the more stuff that she had, I don't know what it was.
Sweet.
A Riesling, some sort of German stuff maybe. The more she'd start giggling. I won't say Michael Smith was his way though. Maybe a little too much of the juice in the food, not in him. I'm a de facto teetotaler. I'm not a de jure one. It's not something that I have any religious stuff about. It's just wine. Alcohol doesn't appeal to me. The taste is just. We're feeling even more so. You know, loosey and goosey with alcohol is. It's a dumb feeling. I just feel.
I like drinking wine in the evening.
Different people are going to have different tastes when it comes to things like that.
It gave me a good night's sleep.
Mm.
Made me feel all nice and relaxed and warm in the evening.
Yeah, well, that would have been important. I mean, you had some nasty people to deal with at work. It wasn't just one person. At least here, Spitty of Lethbridge.
But then I don't know. James didn't drink, so I don't drink. But sometimes I cook with wine. It's good.
The stuff kind of gets...
I haven't made any wine this year because I
spirited
still have
off,
some from last year. Lots.
Cherry wine and others. Not many cherries this year. I don't think we picked them at all. Other people were picking them. One person actually asked.
I told her she could have all of them this year.
I almost,
well, I said
I almost swallowed my tongue with
but I just
my
wanted
teeth
to
after.
leave a few for the birds. That's all. I didn't want them for us this year.
Yeah, to have someone asking, it's amazing.
We've had a few people ask. A couple.
Yeah. Every so occasionally someone does. Most people just do their depredations. Speaking of depredations, you got out of the car earlier. I listened to the news. Coming down the alleyway. Guy peeing right on the end of your tomato plants.
Nice.
Nice. You know, like, find some other place to pee. I mean, it's bad enough you're peeing on the yard here, off the alley. But why would you pee on a plant where people are taking food off to eat? You are not a nice individual. Now, I can take homelessness, but for Pete's sakes, tastelessness or whatever, I don't know what it is. But you don't do that. People used to come and get beer from places just across the alley here.
It's not here now.
And sit on, it's moved. And sit on Pauline's retaining wall. And we basically just wave, hey, hi, you know. They leave the beer cans, thank you. You know, like, what's that about? We're respectful to them. They're, imposing on her property. And then they leave the beer cans. You know, respect is a two-way street. Maybe they thought that's the way of paying it. Hey, you know, there's a recyclable. No, it's just, and we'll pee, you know. People were peeing in here back then.
Well, you were talking about how, like, how much in our society the aggressive propagandists who have aggressive people in our society
go places.
Yeah. Whereas passive people are, they do most of the work.
Yeah.
And
they don't get the credit for it.
And they don't get paid for it. And that's how it works in our society. And so James was talking about it. In the middle of the night we were talking because I wasn't sleeping. And James was mentioning how, well, the aggressive propagandists, really they're like Brahmin, and they can't stand passive people. And you know, they're just there to be taken advantage of, right? And
they love them for that. They love exploiting them.
Yeah. But he was talking about the people that were killed by that fellow who was released from prison, and the neighborhood wasn't told he was. Anyway.
I don't think they were. He was in an apartment, the same apartment.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that was, Edmonton or what. Yeah.
And the thing is when these aggressive propagandists decide, oh yes, well, there's too many people in prison and people need to be rehabilitated and let out into the community, and you can't put this label on them as criminal whatever, because then people will treat them badly, and it's
and
like,
then
okay,
then it's supposed to be like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
It's like the mark of Cain,
But-
and they're going to be murderers forever, unless we go around pretending
but
they
who
aren't.
is more important, the criminal or the people that are having to live near the criminal and have their lives, their safety
Yeah, who do
risk
these?
while they're having to work to be parasitized off of by the aggressive propagandists who are blah blah blah, change the name of whatever, they'll find some way to change criminal so that people don't, because that has a negative connotation or something. Anyway,
People who are criminal.
people who are criminal.
People who are criminal.
But the fact of the matter is, what James was saying was, when people are released from prison, they're not going to be, for the most part, moving into some gated community or something like that. They're not moving in next to these aggressive propagandists.
Not the
They're
Brahmins,
moving
not
in-
the flunky
No.
professionals who are
They're
university
moving in
and
next to poor people
yeah,
who
Poor,
are then being punished.
passive people,
Yeah.
workers. They're literally the workers of this world.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got these Brahmins. We represent the lower classes. We represent the lumpen proletariat in this case. Check that up in your marks. Stuff you got sitting, rotting on your bookshelves. Marx was no big fan of the lumpen proletariat. And here you are, you're representing them all over the place. Now, some of the people that Marx classed as lumpen proletariat, they're going to get stuck there, like if they're working class and they're unemployed. But thieves, criminals, all that sort of stuff. If you represent them, you're not representing the workers. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. You're not representing the workers. Useless assholes. Oh, people that are assholes. Don't get that wrong, because I don't want you starting to act like assholes or any more than you are.
Any more than that, because you're called an asshole. That you are.